Hello and welcome back to another behind the scenes building a newsletter presented by Contineofy. I'm Josh, your host. Today we're going to be jumping into Kit, a little behind the scenes. If you're new to the series, there's a couple videos that come before this, but this is me kind of going through the process of figuring out how I want to build a newsletter for my fractional marketing agency. It focuses on HubSpot and anything that integrates primarily for SaaS brands in that 1 million to 20 million ARR range. They're just after product market fit and typically have some revenue already in the pipeline, closing some deals, and now looking to build out the pipeline, and get a lot more visibility for the platform, scale things up, and kind of lay all the foundation that you need, especially in HubSpot being the backbone of everything place apps. So if that's something that you're interested, shoot me a DM. But for the video, we are going to jump into Kit. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so jumping over to Kit. As you can see, this is the landing page. It's very similar to Beehive. A big difference, though, is Beehive kind of just puts a gate where Kit allows you to kind of share some of your posts, which Beehive does as well. You can have some additional links that you can kind of link out to your most popular things. So I link out to my personal profile, my YouTube channel, Off the Dome podcast, and then the How It Was Made video series is a video series that I share on YouTube that gets released every Sunday and Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern that has kind of shown the behind the scenes. One of my brand values is transparency. So kind of sharing how it was made from 0 to 1, and then we'll continue sharing a lot of the things that I'm doing with Contineofy from a marketing, sales, customer success standpoint with the clients I'm working with, as well as the behind the scenes on how I'm building marketing campaigns for my own brand, hiring a team, and all the legal and taxes and all of the craziness. Kind of showing a lot of the software that I tend to focus on and work with, as you also see if you jump on the YouTube channel. I have a behind the scenes videos that I'm creating that kind of highlights a lot of the solutions that integrate very well with HubSpot and I use personally or I've used with clients, and just kind of giving you a glimpse of how it works, ease of use, capabilities, etc. So if it's something that you want to add on to your software stack, you can either build it out yourself or you can reach out to us at Contineofy and we'll be more than happy to build that for you. Jumping into Kit, you got links, you got recommendations where you can kind of on the back end find creators that you can recommend. So I picked a couple in here. We got a product marketer, a guy that focuses on churn. He has a podcast called churn.fm. Ryan Clover here builds websites. And then this is a sponsored post on the free plan of Kit. I guess for them to be able to make money, they require at least one that you have no control over. $15 you can upgrade and get rid of that. And then I have a quick link out to Contineofy website, which I put my UTM parameters on there so I can see what traffic is coming from Kit. I obviously have the subscribe thing, got the Contineofy peek behind the curtain, and then a little description tag here. So eventually, I think you can have a number of posts that you put here that you can kind of share your top performing, or you can say just the newest posts, just to kind of give people a glimpse of what they're about to get into. On the back end, this is the dashboard. I remember the first time I logged into this, I'm like, where's everything? I don't know if they're just focusing primarily on the onboarding, and then it's going to unlock things, which you can see I'm on step 3 of 5. I haven't sent out my first email yet. This platform focuses a lot more on the email and creating these automations based off of you need a creator level, like you need an upgrade, that's where the $15 comes into play. And it really unlocks a lot of stuff. But at the very beginning, you have this ability to create a single automation. So as people are engaging with your newsletter, you can kind of send out this series of emails based off of what they did. So from a starting point with the free plan, really the only thing you can do, I guess there's a few things you can kind of do here. Like you can have custom field updates. They fill out any form. So you can kind of say if anybody filled out this, then you can come in here and add some automation. You have to upgrade for events or conditions. So this is where it kind of limits things, that you kind of have a couple triggers, but then really all you can do is kind of add custom fields or tags, move the subscriber from one automation to another. But with the free plan, you only have one automation, so you can't really do that. So the most that you could do is kind of have them, when they subscribe, send them, and they do their double opt-in, then you can send them a kind of a welcome to the newsletter, and then trigger off a series of emails that you could kind of delay to kind of welcome to the newsletter, get to know who they are. And then if you're trying to sell something, you could potentially throw some sales promotions in there as well that you could push back to your SaaS brand. You have your earn stuff in here, so you can sell products, you can have a tip jar, and then you have your payouts. This integrates with Stripe. You have your automation that once you get up to that creator level, then there's a bunch of apps that you can integrate with Kit. You can obviously embed your RSS feeds, and then you can create a bunch of rules for your automations. From a sending standpoint, what's nice about Kit is that unlike Beehive, where you kind of almost had to build your own emails, with Kit, when you come in here to new templates, they have a bunch of pre-built templates you can choose from. So it's kind of nice. Like, you can import your own HTML if you want to do something totally custom. But if you're just getting started with newsletters and you don't necessarily know what you should be doing, there's a few templates out here. And then you can also click this template library, and then there's like almost like a Fiverr for Kit where people can sell templates, and then you can purchase if you want something a little more creative than just these basic templates. But just like Beehive, once you have your template in place, then when you're creating a new broadcast, you can build it from that template versus having to start from scratch every single time. So yeah, you come in here and you have your pre-built templates that you can kind of build from, or you can choose an existing template and kind of have a launching pad versus having to start all the way from over. So I thought that was nice, that if you've never done email marketing before, or don't have an idea like what do you even want these things to look like, you have kind of a launch pad. Another thing that's nice is, just like HubSpot, you can create snippets. So if there's a lot of things that you use repetitively, you can create snippets and then be able to quickly embed those into the newsletters quickly, whether that be a signature line, your boilerplate, anything that you want to quickly add, which is nice. I know I use this a lot in HubSpot with snippets, especially if you have the chat flows turned on, or even sending off like one-off emails. You can create a bunch of little snippets that you can kind of put something into an email or a chat flow really quick that you say it a lot and you're like, I'm just tired of typing this out. Create a snippet. Email templates and then sequences. Like HubSpot, you create the automated email, HubSpot language, and then you use that email in the visual automations, which is the equivalent of like HubSpot workflows. And then from a growing standpoint, you can look at all of your subscribers. And once you have your subscribers, just like Beehive, you can kind of segment them out. You can have different tags so that when you're sending out broadcasts, if you have a newsletter that's very specific, you can send it to a group of people versus everybody, and it'll increase your open rates and click-through rates. Another thing that's pretty cool about Kit is that you get these landing pages. Like the email templates, there is the ability to build, you can do forms for like subscriptions or embeds or sales pages, or you can build out a full-blown landing page. And just like the emails, there's kind of these pre-built templates that you can choose from that at least gives you a starting point, and then you can kind of build off of them. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of them. If we go in here to forms, you can see that there's a couple different situations that you can display a form, whether that just be an inline where you're just embedding it on the page. You can have a modal that pops out. You can have this like slide in that comes in from the right. I'm assuming you can probably do right, left. And then you have this sticky nav bar that you see a lot on websites. So when you're trying to get people to subscribe to your newsletter, you can use these embedded forms on your website or other applications, even your software platform. If this is a newsletter for your customers, that you can have this kind of in their face, somewhat distracting modal that pops up and gets to collect their information. Unlike Beehive, I didn't see the ability to do the magic links if you knew somebody already. So that was one of the kickers. They actually have to like provide their email address. So that's unfortunate. Another thing is the recommendations. So you can come in here and there's a Discover Creators, a whole portal where you can see everybody's kits, and you can segment it out by categories, and then you can kind of recommend them in the hopes that they'll start recommending you. And you get to see when this starts filling up, you'll see all the people that are recommending you. And then you'll also see like how many times they recommended you and how many of those recommendations actually converted to subscribers for your newsletter. So you have all your stats front and center, which is really nice, that if you're doing a trade with somebody. It's like, hey, I'll recommend you, you recommend me. You actually get to see the stats. Like, is this trade beneficial, or am I wasting my time? What appeals to that person's newsletter? They don't necessarily appeal to my newsletter. But that's kind of cool. And then, of course, these recommendations you can put on your creator profile. You can actually embed a recommendation on your website or your platform if you're wanting to provide some additional education or content from people. So I think like a use case for this is like a lot of times, especially with SaaS brands, you kind of get these really good like affiliates or influencers that if they have a newsletter, you could actually promote them on your website and in your platform to be able to push out and then allow your customers or people that are visiting your websites to say, hey, like here's these validated third-party people that we recommend that really understand this space and they're leveraging this platform. So you can kind of use their kit as a like almost like a knowledge base if they're talking a lot about your space and niche and what your software allows your customers to leverage. So I thought that was an interesting use case. So from creating a broadcast standpoint, basically create a new newsletter that's going to get embedded on your post. If you come in here and hit new broadcast, and I'm just going to pick the default that you get when you create a Kit account, give you an idea of what this looks like on the back end. So as you can see, it's a very clean WYSIWYG editor, just like Beehive. You can actually run A/B tests. So you could do multiple subject lines if you wanted to test things, and then you can kind of give an idea of the period of time that you want to run these tests before it kind of picks, all right, this is the one that has the best results, and it'll either pick subject line A or subject line B. So that's kind of cool that they have A/B testing. Once you're building in here, you can quickly go out to preview mode and actually see what this is going to look like on both the email and the web, as well as what it's going to look like on a phone versus a widescreen. And you can do that both on the web version and the email version, which is kind of cool. You get the preview. From adding content, you have your whole WYSIWYG editor. So you have your colors, your weights, alignments, paragraphs, headlines, bullets, block quotes. Unlike Beehive, I didn't see where you can kind of like build a like almost like a brand library of like, this is how I want everything to look like. But it does seem that once you style something, it starts to take that effect everywhere. So it's almost like it kind of learns that as you create a head one and you style that head one with a certain font, that it starts to, every time you use that heading one at that point, it'll start using that same style. From a embed standpoint, you have your WYSIWYG editor, but then if you hit the plus sign here, you'll be able to see that there's a few things that you can embed. You can do personalization based off of the custom fields that you collect throughout surveys or polls. You can add buttons. Again, you can do the recommendations within the newsletter. You can sell products, which is an interesting situation that if this is like a customer newsletter and you want to sell swag for your brand, you could sell your products right from your kit. You can have a group of links, the icons, which is really nice. Beehive, I don't feel like I could find this. So like when I was linking out to my social profiles, I just provided the entire link. With Kit, it'll actually be the little social icons. If you upgrade to creator, you can do polls, and then you can kind of do a bunch of layouts, and here's where you add your snippets and then dividers. From a media standpoint, you can add images. You can do a file upload if you're wanting to request something from your customers, or if you could potentially do like a contest where it's like, hey, take a screenshot of you using our software at your office, and we're going to share this on social, and whoever gets the most likes is going to get some swag or a free month of service. Request some file uploads. Video embeds from, I think it's YouTube, Vimeo, or Wistia. You can embed a gallery. I have no idea what band's in town. It's some sort of music player. Countdown timer if you're wanting to promote upcoming webinars or a user conference. If this is a customer-facing newsletter, you can do a countdown to like a virtual conference, a user conference. You can embed Spotify music, TikTok videos, X posts, or you can have a custom HTML block where you can just embed whatever you want. So it's not as much as Beehive, but it still gives you all of the basics that you need in order to create out a pretty clean newsletter. And then once you have it all created, you hit continue, and you can send out the email, publish it to the web. When you're sending the email, you can actually pick who you want it to go. So again, if you on the back end, You can even create automations that as they're engaging with different newsletters that are tailored to different personas or types of people. You could have different tags added that you could then create. You could send out newsletters to only certain tags. You can schedule things. So just like I shared with Beehive in the last video, you could build your newsletter, schedule it out to go for the end of the month or the beginning of next month. And then you can kind of forget about it. You have your A/B testing, who it's going to come from, and then you can do your preview text for the inbox. So you have full control. And then as well as publishing it to the web, you can upload a thumbnail so when people share it, you can make it so the post is only available for subscribers. This is a creator only situation, so you have to be able to make it so that you can have paying customers. You can feature it on the creator profile, so when people first land on that subscription page, this could be one of the ones that you present. And then of course you have the slug of what the blog's actually going to be called, and then the meta description from an SEO perspective. So you don't have the graph, so that's kind of, I'm assuming they're probably controlling that on the back end, that if someone shares this to social media, it's going to pull in the correct information here. Because a lot of times, usually like the title of your page, the meta description, you typically use that in the social graph so that when people are sharing on social media. The only big difference though is typically when you share to a social media platform, the social platform itself is typically going to try to grab like the first image it finds on your website. So by you adding this thumbnail, I'm assuming they're probably using this same thumbnail to say, hey, this is what we actually want to share on social media for the social graph. So you kind of have a control over that. But once you have all of this set up, then you hit continue, and at that point everything's published and it's all forward facing, and then it's gonna get emailed out to all the people that you chose. Pretty simple. And then of course you can come in here and look at all of your broadcasts. You'll see that this one's now in draft mode, but you'll be able to see all of the metrics, how everything was sent, how many people clicked, how many people viewed. It's really nice. You'll be able to see the subscriptions on the growth side. You'll be able to see where your subscribers came from once you actually like have subscribers. I tested this at once, but it'll show you like where they came from, like what pages they converted on. If you're looking for a way to create a very simple newsletter, be able to distribute it with your followers, as well as do a little bit of automation, especially like once you pay the $15 and become a creator of Kit, then you have unlimited automations that you could start doing a lot of crazy things that, depending on how people are engaging with your newsletter, especially being a SaaS brand, there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to want to probably push back and try to create some sales off of this. I wouldn't necessarily do that right off the bat, because it's like Facebook when they first launched. Like, Facebook is cool. Like, I don't want ads. Like, we don't even know what this party's going to be. If you guys watch the Social Network movie, the newsletter, it's like at the beginning, you really want it to be as pure as possible and just a channel that you're building a community, you're engaging, you're being educational or entertaining, whichever direction you want to go. But it's more about just building this solid community more so than it is trying to monetize it. But eventually, like we all know, we're all in business, so we tend to flip it and try to figure out how we can make money off of this. I think that's it for Kit. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. There's gonna be a lot more of these videos behind the scenes coming out. Kit's an interesting one. I kind of like it. It's super clean. It's super simple. There's not a lot of noise around it. So it's going to be very interesting coming down to, is it going to be Kit, Beehive, or Substacks, to kind of see where we're going to go with Contineofy. And at the same time, like, what are you guys leaning towards? At this point, if you've watched the series now, you've seen Beehive and you've seen Kit. The next video is going to be Substacks. But in the comments, what are you leaning towards? Are you thinking that you're going to go with Beehive, you're going to go for Kit, or you kind of holding out to see what Substacks is going to be like on the back end? I don't know why I keep saying Substacks. Substack. But yeah, share in the comments what you're going to go with. If you are looking to go with Kit, there's a affiliate link in the description if you want to link out to that. Right now, they don't have any discounts. It seems that on the back end, they share that they only do discounts for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So when that time period comes around, I'll definitely jump in. If you've seen that, if you're seeing this video, then click the link in the description and you'll get some sort of discount deal. But yeah, as always, my name is Josh. This is Contineofy behind the scenes. See you in the next one.